You may proceed.
May it please the court, counsel. Good afternoon. A teenager is dead. He is dead through no fault of his own. He is dead because another man made assumptions that assumed certain things. He is dead not just because the man made those assumptions, because he acted upon those assumptions. And unfortunately, because his assumptions were wrong, Trayvon Benjamin Martin no longer walks on this earth. The defendant in this case, George Zimmerman, acted upon those assumptions. And because of that, a young man, a 17-year-old man, a barely 17-year-old man, I think it was 3 weeks past his birthday, is dead. Unfortunately, this is one of the last photos that will ever be taken of Trayvon Martin. And that is true because of the action of one individual, the man before the defendant, George Zimmerman. A man who, after shooting Trayvon Martin, claims to not have realized that he was dead. And what did he do? Do you recall what the testimony was about what he did after? Did he render or attempt to render the same aid that those heroic officers from the San Police Department did, who didn't wear the mask that they normally wear, but gave mouth to mouth from CPR and attempt to bring life back into that young boy? Did he do that? Recall also what happened when Mr. Ronaldo came out. And recall also what happened when he also came out. And they handcuffed him. And recall what he told Mr. Ronaldo, please call my wife. And apparently Mr. Ronaldo was taking too long or something. And he said, just tell her I told her. Just a matter of fact. Those acts, those actions, speak volumes of what occurred that evening, Sunday evening. And they speak volumes of this defendant's actions. Sunday, February 26th, 2012, at 7:09 p.m. After the next time almost. Now, you're obviously aware that the shooting actually happened minutes later. In fact, I think because of the recording that was made, we were actually able to precisely determine when that fatal shot occurred. And it occurred at 7:16:55 seconds. But I would submit that the events leading up to this murder actually occurred not just earlier that Sunday evening, but months before. And why do I say that? Even though Trayvon Martin wasn't there months before, why do I say that the events leading up to this occurred months before? You recall the testimony of several people, but most importantly, the evidence you heard from this defendant's mouth when he was being interviewed by investigator Zimmerman. When she first said something to the effect of, what happened after? I wasn't after, I hadn't gone to the scene. And what did he first say?
The neighborhood has had a lot of crimes. My wife saw her neighbors moving into and she was scared. Do you have messages or people? While I was outside. So I decided to start a neighbor watch program in the neighborhood. What's the name of it? For treated police.
Now, those actions, or anything sinister or terrible or evil or ill will, those were actions that occurred throughout the United States and many states, unfortunately. We're trying to occur in the neighborhood, and people get together and form neighborhood watches or other associations to deal with it. There's nothing sinister or wrong with that. But in this particular case, it led to the death of an innocent 17-year-old boy. Because this defendant made the wrong assumption. He profiled him as a criminal. He assumed certain things, that Trayvon Martin was up to no good. And that is what led to his death. Trayvon Martin, he was there legally. He hadn't broken neighbors, neighbor trespass. He was there legally. He went to 7-Eleven store earlier that evening. He bought what? What did he buy? What was his crime? He bought Skittles and some kind of watermelon ice cream or whatever it's called. That was his crime. He had $40.15 in his pockets. He was wearing a photo button, and he was speaking to a girl in Miami. He was minding his own business. But apparently, this defendant decided that he was up to no good. That the defendant was up to no good. What had Trayvon Martin planned for that evening? To watch a basketball game with his younger, I guess you call him stepbrother or friend, the son of his father's fiancée. That's what he was heading back home. You know, he was at 2 o'clock in the morning, or partying somewhere, not that way, realized, but he wasn't. He was just doing a normal everyday thing. He went to the store, he got something, got some Skittles, and some tea or drink, and he was just walking back. That was raining. He was wearing a hoodie. Last I heard, that's not against the law. But in this man's eyes, he was up to no good. He presumed something that was not true. Now, what's ironic about this, neighborhood watching, you heard him spoil the nurse officers, that's respected, they have been encouraged, citizens to do. But in this particular case, he didn't bother to find out. He found something, he called the police, he found it, because his mind, this is criminal, and he's hired criminals, and he runs up there. Again, that's not a bad thing. It's human citizens involved. But he went over the line. He assumed things that were true. And instead of waiting for police, instead of waiting for police to come and do their job, he did not. Because he wanted to be sure that Trayvon Martin didn't get out of the neighborhood. You want to call the right where he's back, and he was back, and they both flee. By the time they walk back, they flee, and he's like, so that means he's something like police officer. Now, police officer trained. No one ever asked investigation by defense, sir, if you run by, and somebody's a friend of yours, you would stop your car and investigate. It's not direction. He said, I was, the issue was, I was there. But see, instead of finding the fire out there, he's not assumed that Trayvon Martin was the criminal. And that's not here. That's not here. These defense arguments this offense. They're going to say, well, actually, you had a shooting, obviously. But you can't just take that back. It's not like this defense just walk home, it's not out there, and just try to beat him up. Hey, when you think that, when you really honestly think about it, who was here? The guy, the kid, that was 9 seconds home, they'll be followed by the guy at the truck, an SUV, that, oh, no, where's he at this time? Someone shoots something, well, maybe sex or something. After you refer to his cracker, whatever he used, he but he's not that's the first time here. I'll say it. Now, Trayvon Martin, unfortunately, came to the school and tell him how he's doing. And that's because he has one man. He's a so about the defendant that night. Most people live there, most people think part. Also, he wasn't there, that's perfectly good thing. But he wasn't that's a whole thing. That's a thing about. And everybody says he's trying to party. Now, he's trying to party. He's winning. What's he doing? And he crashes down. He's trying to find out. He just follows the police. He's following. He's looking for the car. So he's there. He's just there. And he calls out the car. Oh, that's not good there. It's not good. But once you realize this is what led to Trayvon Martin death. Defendant, 28 years old, 5'7", 204 pounds, and armed. Don't stop right here. He had a right to bear arms. We live in the same country, second allowed to bear arms. And he had a right. He had a right to bear arms. That's a but he's not allowed to law. 17 years old, 5'11", 158 pounds. And he was gone. Well, I guess he was the team. I'm not sure. Let's say, I'm pretty yellow. But what started this? Assumptions. incorrect assumptions on the part of the individual.
That's the last photograph we have of Trayvon Martin.
This innocent 17-year-old kid was profiled as a criminal. To quote the defendant, and pardon my language, he was one of those assholes. Get away. Pardon my language. He was one of those fucking punks. Now, the defendant Zimmerman screamed that out, and so he argued, well, that shows he didn't have any hatred. No, I was going to do that under his breath. And that was he's speaking to me, not one non-person person. But when he's talking, he's thinking. And that's why I support. Because in his mind, he only assumes certain things. That Trayvon Martin was a fucking punk, and he's an asshole, and he wasn't going to be away. His mind. You recall the calls? Brian 5 the last 5 months. Of course, I'm going to say, well, it wasn't okay. You know, oh, I'm sorry, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Mr. Martin, so I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm terribly sorry. You'll also say, the law of accountability, responsibility for his actions. That's what we're asking for. Hold the defendant responsible for his actions. Hold accountable for what he did. Does the defendant assume that? Trayvon Martin, what's that volume? The original assume that part of it, where he has meetings, you would be. Law may allow people to law in their hands. This is not affecting the police. Take on their hands. This is not about it. Okay, we're going to ask you to do money, and the law, they're not asking for it. First, before that's fine. Let's say something. But this is very much yes. We're calling this on this interview news, and also responsible. We're calling this at one point that Trayvon Martin circles his car. And my point is saying that is what you got to true. But let's assume that part's true. And see, why is this guy in the car? He thinks that Trayvon Martin's responsible. Why? Why? He's not dead. He's not a he's not security. He's not cop. He's not security. He's not cop. And my guy's security. He's not a cop. If the police are wrong, he's an animal. Now, people always say, "Kill this man." This is very important. These actions resulted in death. Let's see. They did not. And you can man for you. Is it a self-defense? And violence of the person outside. Incorrect. And I'm not blaming the criminal. Because in your mind, it's not shooting suspicious. It's really, he's changed. Why should you walk fast enough? I found this country, no matter how. My name is Anthony and one water. That's against law. Yeah, absolutely. Literally. Uh-huh. What's I in this case? Well, let's talk about you how it's intense. Because you might go on. You say, what do you feel like such and say? You might be right. When you say it's like this, we want you to take all the evidence. We're going to take all of this. There's something about out there. Because we want you to get proof. We want you to get a police report. When you do so, I want to analyze this best I could do with this. Why was it necessary to defend the example? Why was it? It took a while. He didn't forget. He kept denying something. What? Obviously, he had killed him. He said something. But what's going before that? What did you deny? They found it. Because they knew that he had been following him. That should have been illegal. That's what we got from asshole. That's never illegal. That's what you get talking about. Oh, I can be in the street. I was trapped. Remember that video? We're showing you the work. Boys, to the one. I'm supposed to. Look, this is my house. You're trapped. Or one of them. I'm supposed to street. He's never walked out. He's lived 4 years. That's all I have to bubble. This is the mainstream building. You see, when it doesn't matter. They for one thing. They was following. They had profound and following. And that's just he just his actions led them to the death of Trayvon Martin. So you just say, okay, let's have the action and never talk about it. Because unfortunately, that's just unfortunately. There's only one person who should be most not law. But there's some people who believe out there. And he, the defendant, the other person, who comes before you, tell me what. He, the defendant, silence Trayvon Martin. That was when you again in silence. His body, a lot of evidence as different from because from DNA, from black stuff, his body speaks to you. He didn't that had proved to you that this defendant is lying about that. You're all talking about all that is respect. What? I'm sure the photographs. That's the next don't show the scene. Show up, no things. There's always winning that night. There's a let on fixing stuff, right? But I'm making damage. You have a little about that. So the point is, the defendant attempted to visit at least shooting man before self-defense. He had exactly what happened. That's why someone else, it was like the whole stuff he asked like, and talk about it. Then we'll get around the circle, and then he got a man, and then let's see, it got worse, and then he threw his and then his hand was out, and he made his nose, and then one time, something the same thing. Oh, people just call me names. Because you know what? This defendant, as you heard, has something called. It's a murder offense. And he's got all the things that are required. So he's one right here. That was making sure that this assumption on the part of the defendant. The defendant and the law and the police city. The defendant's name was murder. Innocent and father was criminal. Yeah, so the defendant was one of those. He's also was very pumped. And things are getting away from the line. Now, nothing to let's assume that something's not against the law itself. What do you want? Let's assume that's not that. We're not right. Okay, police. Not person. Stupid. Well, you know, this is kind of much straight. He's contact. What's wrong with you? He's like, well, I'm going to watch. Are you going to assist the law? We're looking at okay, you're right. Let's see. Let's say, you want to help me help you that. You take action. Because you didn't assume. We're going to do that. Well, I'm not following for anything. But you know, it's about first day. So I go, which way? Is that? You want to police out? You want to talk about? You don't know. So it's not about evidence. That's what starts the board. The answer was saying straightforward. The answer is so evidence. Again, you're not giving nonsense. You're looking at the defendant of the police officer. You have to go for years, trust me, it's like police officer. It's an honorable action. You apply for the stuff, you take real justice, good. They have to say, well, that's what the matters are here. Not here. Hey, that's not what yours. That's what I say. Oh, well, yeah, sorry. It's all about the business. Before I do that one, thank you for your service. I think I look forward to it. And in the process, I'm also fortunate to be able to live in the Constitution in terms of asking people about their lives to give up a lot. That will work perfectly to serve yours. So that's the matter. Defense court, thank you for your time. This is very good. This is for example, and it's all going to you. You realize that if you all are watching jurors, I'm top, you're not going to watch it, and you're going to something else matters. We're not going to closely, and you're process. You've been a long time, and we're the end. But I want to talk about when I was in the right. You know, we have to country. Number 2, you lie on all address. That's what we do. You lie on Never forget that. You lie on your process. You know, context that we use. I like in home at work. I'll encourage you to do that. Against government. That's not in sense. When you do those 2 things, when you lie on the evidence, you lie law and you lie on constitution. Obviously, you don't have the truth. I read it. Yes, never be as important as anyway. I mean, do you believe that there's anything other than him? You believe that he just assumed something? Not only what's his fault. That Trayvon Martin did. He was just kind of a trial or argument or discussion, out of hand. Perhaps, let's try this. Who's on the Who's on the business? Again, on the two. Who's on the armed? And you, that are. Well, you see that there. We have back to the timeline. And it's not a little bit of that. It's timeline showing phone call between It's timeline showing phone call between Reggie and and Corey-Nifong. Two parts. So we started with the case, Cypher, Poland, I'm getting some abuse of the business. It was also had first false time, first call. It also had one originally false stuff, talking about that. And that's how that's why we decided to one chapter. We read time with call. You hear the shot in that call. And now we call to the spot that and I'll say one that you know have to call. So I believe that's probably it's time. That's again. So whatever. Now you lost the formula. Don't lie. Because I'm not sure what you said. After the day, here in this. For interesting. Now, presumably, I was going to use our respect for not much. But you just focus on your chance to do it. Case your patience and maybe I'll get because of it. So 18 But didn't she tell you especially that the best? That your speech, your language will colorful, so you that all they do and for better phrases to call people. But she's speaking the truth. Because when you think it, she's the person that was speaking to the victim. And when the conversation she had with the victim, nobody knows there's something about her. I mean, that photo that's action, that are doing their copy. What I'm saying is she had to she couldn't publish, she couldn't lie about what they said and she referred to the guy following that. She said, but then it's not the person who and Trayvon Martin said he's whatever. I asked her whatever. She could no, she talked to the bitch but she didn't like that. She could, but it was like she didn't But see, her use of language isn't something that's right. It's just not how they do. Yeah, not it's actually conversation to less. So don't think like that. That's why I was saying why. I guess it's is that right? You decide what you're going to do. You just understand that because he's listening, and just can't be first person. Like, what you do. I think you do that. You decide. What's not great for things. Not saying that. I mean, one takes a long answer questions. Because we're trying to do the truth. But if you know what it's okay, we'll next hour, and you decide. But what she say, comport or match with the evidence, and I was going to do it. I mean, that's what she said. But she said, Trayvon Martin said, is it consistent with the evidence? I mean, is there a dispute that this defendant profile, however, he's very word, is it true that assume that Trayvon Martin is criminal? I mean, he doesn't do that. Right? Is that consistent with what? Based on the then the defendant we say, yeah, the kid, every person died, she's no way. Did she say that? I agree with you. I thought it was on the content first testimony. On content first testimony. Because you got 4 times for baseball, they do whatever. That's the first story. Was that consistent with what she said? What she followed the victim? Is it what's on the victim? Did the defendant take away? Did the defendant refrain? I think that's what it is. And listen to that. What would you say? Oh, she's for happiness. Oh, she's for the streets. Oh, you mind her business all of a sudden? This victim will follow just out of nowhere. That's what we're doing. She won't get away with the Again, it's called for to describe the thing. And therefore, victim, that's what it is. I was going to be that best example that is not the truth. Now, she's not about, you know, nothing for police, me, why? Okay, she's doing that. She's doing that. She's lying. She's lying. She's lying. Trayvon Martin. Look, you did definitely done that. She's lying. She's lying. And you realize that I have best 5 people 5 people. We have a defense not respond. Let's do that. That's 40. I believe my dispute whether the operator told him not to follow that. You decide. What was that for? What's necessary? Say that doesn't that have shown that's it? What the defense was feeling behind? I mean, the information is provided to the operator like, hey, he is a asshole. He'll play people. That's asshole on you. I want to express that. That's nothing that word. That's how he feels. Now, that's not he's angry. Well, you decide. I was going to be for that's frustration. That's not feel guilty. That's way of lines, criminal. You're trying to feel those big lines. And that comes down the way. What's necessary? To get better words. He had in his mind determined that he was criminal. Very much criminal. He was not going to stay away. You know, there's only because of the interest. And what I'm this one is the one that's over and another. Of course, he points out, so he can figure it out. He points out, that's true. And this done, I'm sure. In that video, we'll give you the detective in the car. He had to yes, like, I think about it. He worked out his verdict because he left that was a lie and told the police so they would justify why he was following, why he was profiling, why he was tracking a young man. And he has to close up with this right here. Not still very well. We've got some more examples of that. We have this phone call, the 911 call, and we'll just know what she said. She didn't see anything. She stayed inside. I think someone in that phone call was telling her to be. I think they're married now. Jeremy Weinberg. Jeremy, get away from the window, do something. Don't go out there. But the bottom line is, she recorded it. But what did she say before the actual recording? Before she called the police, she heard something going on out. Because see, this wasn't like the defendant claims that out of the blue, the victim just kind of attacked him and knocked him to the ground and they just started. No, this started, I would submit, further down, but it didn't start right. The defendant claims it occurred. Mr. Dyko, you heard from her too. We've got the vantage point in terms of there where her place was. My recollection was she's got the cat, I think his name was Leo, was kind of looking out and she was reading. At some point she got up, she looked. She had a good vantage point. She did observe something. And what does she tell you? That in her opinion, based on what she saw, she thought the bigger man was on top. This is answer about popular things. We have an answer. Our question said that the bigger person was top. The mitigation thing about hold on. This is about the other stuff. We're not trying to football. The football game more. That's true. That's something the person on top was bigger. She's cheating. My name is. And there was a fight. There was a struggle. It's not a picture. It's not. And the one on top. And something bigger on top. That's struggling. Why did it occur? it's meant to believe that the victim is just or and that the defendant will follow him, the defendant will just walk back to the The defendant truthful, the police just trying to find he's trying to find that street name is. And walking outside, within seconds, outside, he's doing it. He thought he was he said, the defendant was going to say, ask him about all the way. And he's going to go shot. And I think, well, I was trouble. What, how's that factor in? Well, who's right? Who's following who? Chasing who? Who had the right if they were chased? Is it the right self-test? Not the defendant? They can chase one person? They'll get fast chase. They'll get whether the defendant was cheating or not. No, it's not there. It's supposed to be about that. It's raining. It's about that. And that's what we should have business from one sidewalk or one walk to where the body was. There's a border. And the back has photographs. What else? These photographs has the blood on that sidewalk. The big thing is, if the defendant was believed that has the intellectual police, he has to move to the back of the same I think we'll send him to why is his jacket all pulled out? Or he's scratched up? Why is his jacket all pulled out? See about that? Or is he jacket out? Flashlight, that was the key. Right now, that's what's on. Takes attention to the neighbors out there. In terms of their criminal slope, we're talking about speeding, so that you say what the goal is. Again, this is just the body goes out. That's the flashlight that been had. I've been told this is not working. Want to check in, police? Will you check in again? Or will you check in? Obviously, crack down, Trayvon Martin, and then you start bringing some straight in. That's the next time, just talk on the phone. He's out. When he puts his he's over. I should have shown that. I should have known something supposed to know. Hey, you're on the phone. Takes it, close up, when you're shot was, and also just phone. Well, that's just you. Much more the other guy was immediately about that, or the switcher. Now, they have these systems, they can't have that. Well, that nice to do that switcher is handy. Little bit on, also that my friend England has taken out the switcher. Here's one. Takes it, 4 see blood hands, takes it, 4 see blood hands. I mean, there's you that the next mouth knows, I'm sorry, I'm going to blood, but his hands. His mouth was made, it was just in terms of the combination of the, well, we're going to see, where's blood? The interesting thing is, that was what you say, I don't know if it's what? What's blood? I don't know. Was there any blood? Is it back? So what? He's not blood now? And what's that going? Takes it, just on the other side. This is going to be that there's a there. That's the claim, the street name or been on address. You know, about 4 years. He takes these documents, there's street address. This is just basic. Just read all the houses. He's not. He's not saying. He doesn't have walk on distance. Find the actual street for. That's what he's saying. These are persons that I don't know what's happening. Take it, take it, back from how you can leave. This is another right. Why is what's on there and not on big things? Section 2 the Russian flag. Tell me about that. Section 7 just seems to know what he's out there. We're on his hands. Under his body, but he's trying to. He needs police in terms of second. He's forced. Bad fires. Answers there. He's trying to tell police that he's here and kill himself. And he's saying, "What? How to? What is it? What's out there?" And if you're a doctor, they might say that responding to 50 seconds and just how long goes. Okay, so that part of the hands, so he will come out and then tries to do a lot and put hands on me. Why do you say that? Because it's hard to handle the cop. That's what he's trying to do. You know, you can't. The first down, you can't do the first. The other thing is, you're probably that's why the hands are next to the one was. And then we're going to just another slide. What's out there? And since there's a focus on how you're saying that's it. We're talking about that. Don't make it. Well, that button might have something to do with the way that sweatshirt is kind of hanging. It's a little big on him, but also that might affect the angle of how much is sticking out of the sweatshirt. You decide. Stage Exhibit 23. Why is that important? You see any blood on his hands? On the victim's hands? Stage Exhibit 24. Do you see any blood on his hands? I mean, is there any dispute that the I'm sorry, has some blood on it? How come there isn't any blood on the victim's hands? Because the argument was made, or suggested to you in terms of the cross-examination of the, and all you had watched hands, you all didn't know what you're doing there. Well, right there the scene. Where's blood? The other interesting thing is, that was based on the evidence. I don't know what you call this, it's also what? Why is blood in it? I'm not wrong with the other one. Was the defendant pulled that? Has the victim's right back out? It's not mine, but you see how it's pulled all the way down? And which side's on? Stage 29 shows some of the other exhibits out there. Stage 33, put this here because I thought, and about it, the testimony, that there's a street address right there. That's what the defendant claimed, you know, A, the street name, or he couldn't find address. He knows that for 4 years. He takes his body out there, even know that there's street addresses because this is just like fancy, just right there with all the houses different. Each kind of put that, they're all the same. But he doesn't have to do address. That's why I had to walk that long distance to find the address, find street for the police later. Stage 36 is just a daytime photograph. I've shown the area, the first one out there. Stage 76 is a big issue about that photograph. It shows how he defended bleeding. I think it's relevant to that photograph. Why is the blood on there, and why was blood out on the victim's hands? Section 2 is the question of the blood. Probably about that. Section 77, this is again, knowledge of the police out there. Where are the victim's hands? Back under his body? What did the defendant claim to you? He used police charging in terms of suspect and, well, police force, they always spread out the arms, and make sure there's blood in there. Because he's trying to tell the police that what happens is he's here, and he wants to have the hands, check for blood. That's not doing. Well, it's consistent with physical evidence out there. And the defense hold on, doctor, they might have said you take out a person's heart, and they live 15 seconds, and the person kind of water goes over the top. Okay, so you take out the heart, and the victim kind of moves him, and spread out his hands, and so taking more blood coming out, and then the victim's trying to just kind of lift it up, and put the hands underneath. I don't know. You decide. Why do you have to say that? Because it's part of him wanting to get caught. And that's what police officers do. You want to shoot the money. You shoot handcuff. You know the person's dead, and handcuff is for 3 purposes. The other interesting thing is, you're probably flashlight the defendant had in terms of relation to the bottom was. And again, photograph shows in some matter of I think worked a few weeks out there. matches the defendant, and Trayvon Martin is excluded. That is inconsistent with what the defendant claimed to Mr. Osterman. He told Mr. Osterman that he had the gun, grabbed the, I think he described what part of the gun he grabbed. And then there's other tests also on limit, and then no determination has the other side, in the holster. You had also, I would submit, relevant fingernail scrapings of the victim in this case. What were the findings? No DNA foreign to Trayvon Martin, no DNA results at all. So the victim in his trouble that the defendant claims he had with him when he was trying to kill him, basically, he was shut him up so he could speak. Where'd all the blood go? Where'd all the defendant's blood go? While we're on that subject, the defendant claims that he was the only one yelling out there. So all the crimes are up for him, and decide whether it was him or whether Trayvon Martin was both. Any blood. Or both. But if he's yelling names down and he's got all his blood and he's swallowing the blood, how's he able to do that? And why is there consistent? He yells, help, help, help. Why is it help now? Why is he able to yell and the defendant claims the victim was, I'm going to talk. Or he's lying about that. That was mentioned in their lie. We saw that the Untitled Chapter, I'm assuming the DNA results we got mixed, so it's kind of all in there. But just to demonstrate to you how thorough the investigation was in terms of the full law enforcement doing further analysis of the case, versus the evidence.
If you're ready to take a break, we'll take a 15-minute recess, ladies and gentlemen. Please put your investigation on chair and follow the driver's side to the jury.
So if it's being happened, this is here, it's not submitted to jury claims, then I occur, actually, we certainly would. I think you might as well, sometimes you get something else in your hands, like all these jury things. Defendant, there's two people, one shot, one line, not happy. Why might that be? Wonder? If one shot, that lies, why would that be? He probably has to away, and he started following, and wanting to make sure that they didn't away. And now he's saying, you them off, he's killed them notice. Very hard. He was followed by this man, red white, two pencil. Very serious. Quickly, I got your process, how to make it there's actually one in line, one time, in your place. And also, like that.
And I'm recording her. And there's a few times where I've seen this person in the neighborhood who call these numbers and these guys always get away.
Oh, yes. Intake. Reports of the person.
Last time I found the
Yes,
camera.
Why not in my camera? Because you call the boys back to that, you guys are say, I mean, they have a courtroom, they have a
The only issue, forwarding, I'm sorry, I'm going to go for the chicks on and see if I see where he goes.
you know, and that's your name, what's your name? You'll see it, one time to investigate out there. The answer, no, also, is the fact that he's saying this man, it's certainly his car, so the other is here, it's out of the car, we'll follow it. So either proof of the car, or he's lying out. Either way, it shows he's telling the truth. Because if you're the car, or he's saying the other way, he has to inform, it's just maybe photos with him, that's happened. You see the victims are showing, that he's stored in the car, and that's what person that does. That's what we're doing.
And he's like, you do that. And I said, okay. He's very close to the so I had gone where the dog walked up and walked back through to my street to and he's very close to the okay. I told this is a police yes, and I was in the mall. So I was walking back through where my car was, and he got in the bushes, and he said, what's the problem? And I got someone up, there's only one side, he's like, I don't have a problem, he's not making a problem, he's pushing the nose. At that point, I felt it.
So you need to turn out the one story, one he has one back, he's not he's actually made, he's border, he's back, he's in the bushes. You'll see that he peeks that, he gives himself, you'll see it, turn up. Because no one was he also catches up, he says, how are we going to go?
He's get ready to push. This is pushing flowers in grass.
This man, Trayvon Martin, this teenager, he's not in darkness, he's not, of course, he's not, so illegal. He's always concealed, because he's tested by crime, he's not police, he's not wandering out in darkness, he doesn't have to his car, but he's not in fear, he's not wandering. Then he says, he's not in darkness, somebody's scared of, and he's not wandering what's going on. So he's like the police, not what you're asking the police, but it's you, it's you, and he's just kind of walking, and the different out of nowhere.
It's going to be close to the process where I will start the law. Because of this case, it will be in that law that the jury will take care of it. But we might have to take it.
He's trying to police and nothing wrong.
He's in by like.
Yeah, I'm saying that the level of violence force is escalated. Because Trayvon Martin is trying to shut up by, you know, if he's going to get to this, some of the signs you'll see, he's got 10 hands out there, 2 months. He's able to do all this while that's in there. Then he's able to do it.
My jacket, my shirt came up, and I said, you're down, and I felt his hand went outside, and I was looking for a fire, so I grabbed it immediately, and I head down, all my arms down.
So, the comes to he's saying down. Told the man, the bit of what we forgot, that's not going to grab them. He's basically going to realize, I told the man, when you're out, later back off, everybody see it, he's got that, the free hand, it's what's the gun. That makes sense? And they don't even, they're going to be exposed. Of course, I'll check it in. He's not this time, in the holster. And you'll see in a few minutes, Loving, he does, he demonstrates the police where he had done, and what's right here in front, it was going to happen, he demonstrates to the police out there where it was. Look at that, look at the size of the gun, how did the victim see that in darkness? Or was it outside, it was stuck in, behind, he demonstrates, the police where it was. How did the victim see his gun? Where's the lie? Take that.
So I was a shot, I was my firearm, guns on my hands, talking, and I just say I'm moving, and
The people that is that he tells out there, believe they've ever seen, that he realized when they shot the victim. Well, he's just here, and he's not shot, but that's what he's done. He's just here. Where's the police running? That's what he's doing. Where's the police running? There's that police running, that's what he's got. But he's still here, he's going to be one moment, there's no doctor, he's here. He's trying to police, and he's shooting back. He doesn't feel like he's going to scare me. They always around that time. Maybe, or that's assholes, or fun times. They're good photos. Again, go back to that subject, originally, we profiled a 17-year-old boy that has skills. That's why he did that. He did. Still, he still, from 7-11, he was really black. You saw the he went in still fear, he was at work over there. He was wearing a hoodie. But somehow, this thing right here, he switches. A 17-year-old kid who's wearing a hoodie. That's everything, he was 17.
So you see this, I was here, and when I walked back, I was in darkness, and I see this, I said, police.
I was speculating, the police, he said one to attack out because he was going to call the police. He's trying to justify the police by bit. Of course, he's not dead. He came to Rionda, so I was changing the sign, I was going to my shop, and they were watching the system and stuff like that. And I just came back because he must realize that I called the police, that first time he's still existing in mind. He's a criminal, and after a suit, they were
And when I walked back towards him, I saw him come at me.
you do that? When I walked back towards him, he's business. I saw him he knows he's happening. I said he was. He's like, and pursuing the victim. But he catches him, and he goes back over me.
And every time I remember that, I don't know.
He's got to explain why evening I said 24 pounds, perfectly healthy, 20-year-old man, is over 5'11", 150-pound kid. And he being limited, running and following him, he's on he's got flashlight, he's got a gun. This kid's scared because this guy's following him. He's got to explain why this guy's got oh, I'm boom, I got distracted. Go for it, son, go for it, done. We'll leave the same place. That's the same day, part two. But even if true, Bill Harris and Travis were he saw the victim, where the victim was just kind of loose switches, and yeah, somewhere so last he took the where he the victim was, but it did find cause his switches like 70 over. Then so the first thing he saw. I've been talking about it. You guys want to here? You got yes, and boys about the name on this. One of the EMS live trying to put that in place. Another place you're she didn't see anything to like. You're ready to verify. If you time to do this, you're not going to First of all, who saw who? Who saw you? Functional. I said because you really have something to do. And what's about their shoes? If that's claims, then told police that he went back on my bitch was on. Well, you know, that's what that's some. What? I thought it was as a piece of the top of the It's not one. Come on, that's the system. So you back. Yeah, wow. What's all the first marks? Some of this tension with these concrete that forever. I'm listening. That is it. You know that's not your you know that's not your name. I can't pop up the thing with the concrete. Sure. Fire hands. If this is no, you manage to how does himself? And he's just the water leaving that you want to hear someone, you think that. That's these eyes, I know he does this. Again, he's trying to make a life forever. Yeah, so the world is so he's real. I think you have and they must not be the money to do it. And I'm not going to say, well, those and they lay along it. He grabbed my head in sidewalk. When he started to rest of the world. Oh, he killed me. And of course, it's criminal. But his hands over my mouth. He said, you're not. So of course, that'd be right. He's got that legal training. He's aware of one touch say. He said, how can we shot? He was talking, I said, yeah, I got out. He said, how? And they talk about his own people, he got his job. They both at the same time. It's so hard, but they both come out around that time. They talk about all that, I've seen that go. Strike those. I've seen that all 3 times. They just go, he's really not good, no. And he's right down, the timeline to the national things out, he's obviously the best, but he got the other Get out of the bushes. Don't walk him from time. He must have faced backwards. When I walk backwards, I saw him again. Makes sense. That's true. But I walk backwards, he was who he was. You know what was that? And everything in the police, I'm showing this is from the other to suspect. Not when I'm going for, as I'm the police, for criminal, that was the suspect. He's got that. So I go, when I'm the police, knows the stuff. Hey, they're really with it. Suspect this, that. I'm going to check the source, I'm going to tell him. If you take the follow outside, I dead. You got one now, listen. He started the house notes. Follow this now. You're nice time. I spent 10 seconds while I was talking
The next year, there's a modeling, I called police about this house. When police arrived at this house, when I called the first time, the door was locked. The team searched, I said, no, I just called him. I asked him, he was investigating, he was standing around looking out. He was, I'm like, he stopped, and he seemed to look out, and I was like,
this is what he thinks, this is criminal. Well, that's fine. Talk to you about saying that. Number 26. Say your address.
And I was close, so I put it in my exam. I parked at the bus. And they asked me where I was, and I was like, I was right. Here's that. So I stopped calling. Then he walked past me. He's moving on. And so now I stopped. Then I said, where do you go? He's got one right there. He went over, he's over. Before he got to the street. And then we started talking. He said, there, place for 3 weeks, for 4 years. Yeah, why do you have to that? He's not that. Then he's following this isn't. Young boy. He right there, and this is the I know he's seen it. This is what you see, this guy again. So I have to. Right over at the side of the yard, if I look for this, and that's all. That's all. Walking back that way, and through that house. He looked back, mostly through that house. Also, also with my lunch. And then he came back. He started walking towards the grass, and then he came down. And started walking after that. He was going to hear if he said anything. He had his hand in his waist down. And I think he'll know that. And he said, where am I? And I'm not really in the street. Because I'm on the street. He just goes to somewhere. And he's like, I don't know. He doesn't mean address. I said, no, I just need my address. Never doing the street name. Now, saying, this is here. This is why you go follow. So I follow. He will find the address. Because he wants to justify why you go down that route. Because he can't find where this criminal zone. Before she's not right. So I'm going to show him. I asked him, and anything about that control. And I was here. He's behind me. He's going to he's not there. He's walking. He's like, where he from? He's out here. There's not a problem. I think we're something. I love him to talk. He's going to now. He's here. He's fixed. Around here. He was I don't know. Pronounce something about it. I was walking over. And that's right here. When there's a circle of Boston. That's also the injury. And that's just and is he right? Was he fired? And he saw that. He said, he said, you're going to fire. If you reach for it, the long gun was like, and I didn't actually fire. What in other words is that he actually grabbed the victim's arm and moved the arm so he never shot. Yeah. They will do all this. They do that with hands, arms. See, all these has to be started.
He's trying to define police, and first because, of course, the mass insane means not better. That will cause him to resort to the shooting. Soon as shot, we got bush I guess like I said, you got shot, we got shot. And his influence on stuff you heard, you got behind his stuff. Also, I'm not going to get last week for sure. There's a clue to it. But this is a beautiful video. I'm still there. That's the first chapter. Let's see what. Right here. The mailbox. I was this. Location intel. Told you all. That's where the video was finding some bloods. And the chief partner was mailbox. We're just going to him. He kept yelling. That is, he kept yelling. Of course, we got started. But it is happening. This good thing came out. When he came out, they heard the big say, the person say, "I'm not sure that happened." And look at that. That's good. That's the It's not contrast, it's not making these things. So I'm looking at the Trayvon Martin view. Give me this. Next question. You want to ask, because this was Martin asked, that's it. Go. Ask her, go. Raise that question. Bye. Let's say it's going to we have a person on the issue. He's back away. He's scared of him. He's scared of the person. He's falling over. In the darkness out there. Of course, he has more than he's scared of him. Can't have the voice. Yeah, he's not going to hit. Oh, he's following him. He's profiling. That's what we need. Take my do it. Yeah, that's what we do. Oh, yeah, we should say, no, that's what we're not. Anyway, I'm not sure something like that. No substitutes for these extra line. And then we can get this all this pipeline. The right wise, and it'll bring on his victim. He's really bad. It's not a guy. It's not a victim. It's a victim. Okay. He's going to test that now. Now you have to pump his way. Somebody say that. Then we go on to last week. 2013. He's ready. He came around these questions. And then that way. He's not alive. Well, perhaps Trayvon Martin you. He's following it. He's following you. And he realizes that. And he realizes, oh, it's no good. He's chasing it. And he's Trayvon Martin here. It's with me. So he said, oh, he's standing away. That's what he's
the issue where you said to on the 911 call that he's running. You said that to the dispatch. Is there any chance in retrospect, as you look back at night and what happened, trying to maybe get into the mindset, because we also have learned that his girlfriend supposedly at the time, that maybe he was afraid of you, didn't know who you were?
No.
You don't think that, why do you think that he was running then?
Well, maybe I said running, but he was more...
You said he was running.
Yes. He was like skipping, going away quickly. But he wasn't running out of fear.
You could tell the difference?
He wasn't running.
He wasn't actually running.
You know, sir?
Okay.
Hannity just asking a very simple question. Well, perhaps Trayvon Martin was scared of you since you're following him and he's running away from you. And so he realizes at that time, the defendant realizes, oh, that doesn't look good, because that means I'm chasing him. That means Trayvon Martin is the one that's scared. That doesn't look good for me. So what does he say? Oh, he's skipping away. La la la. That's what he's claiming.
Hear the unbuckling of the seatbelt. Hear you opening the car door. And this a very key moment that everyone in the media focused on, and the dispatcher asked you about him, and you said yes. Explain that.
I meant that I was going in the same direction as him, to keep an eye on him so that I could tell the was going. I didn't pursue him.
I'm not following my daughter when she's on the street. She doesn't have. I'm just kind of going in the same direction that she's in.
I thought he had, after he couldn't get hungry anymore, he started to try suffocating, and I continued to push his hands on my mouth and my nose, particularly because it's excruciating, and nose and put his leg on me. That's the point in time he said, shut up. I didn't say shut up. I don't know.
There's all that play on Trayvon Martin's hands. So is he screaming or not? Because why would allegedly Trayvon Martin shut up if he's not screaming?
Then he first broke up. After we were on the ground, I shimmied with him on top of me, and he made my jacket rise up, and he on top of me, saw my right side.
So he's trying to explain how this part gun was concealed in his backside there, how all of a sudden became exposed.
I guess he was a shimmy, he was straddled on me, with his weight, and I...
And that when he's able to just try to shimmy. Before he's incapable of fighting back, as he claims the victim was bashing his head over and over. But at this point he gets, I guess, some strength and kind of shimmies. And then, what
I
is
feel it was all God's plan, and for me to second guess it, which I did. Is there anything you might do differently? In retrospect, at the time, just a little bit. So, yep.
I don't know any comment about that. Speaks for itself. And again, you just heard it, so it's going to do some parts of the same. Mr. Osborne, his best friend, wrote a book about this experience, about the defendant. His big nice built, victim's often used followed his car first, and he got out in the main street, dark contact, with a march etc. Straddle these knees on the question. I guess I might as well do whatever else, other words than he's using whatever we call this. But you see what he's saying now? He's saying that armpits, how does he get the gun out? Armpits, how does he get the gun out? The truth does not lie. Earlier you showed the police where that gun was. So how does he manage to get out and get the first shot in the heart of a 17-year-old man? Teenager. He doesn't say grab the holster, he grabbed the gun between the rear side and the hammer. Now these are two individuals, Mr. Osborne, who's a trained federal agent and trained defender for firearms, so he knows what we're talking about. In fact, he's a perfect gun yet. He describes in detail what part of the gun the victim touched. No DNA, only defense DNA. Ready to find out watch away too? Or there's another lie he tells. You're at 9 degrees, etc. I'm not going to evidence simple, I'm sure he's dead, but the holster's a gun. All right, let's talk about who will. In terms of one of the elements of this murder, go through this real quick. Mr. Trying, Officer, police officers, reading some untrue to the documents that was admitted that we had an opportunity to read or review. Learn all about it, self-defense laws, what you have to say. Talking about here in terms of the fact that the special actually did involve attacking somebody, so he wants to get credit for it too. He doesn't want to get that after all. He's the neighborhood coordinator. Of course, he wants to make Trayvon Martin criminal. And he couldn't find the address. Recall? I was trying to mislead the police officer in the back of these. Why? He's not doing anything wrong following the individual. Why is he lying about it? Common sense. How many arms did Trayvon Martin need for punching, moving the sidewalk, grabbing the head, smothering the mouth, grabbing the all at the same time? How many arms did he need? How much was it? Didn't even come in 7 seconds. That's what we're talking about. So you have to the phone call. Those 40 plus people were really started? Man, somebody just flashed. What do you claim Trayvon Martin? 25 plus 25 slams. How's that alive? How's it alive? Or is he exaggerating that to justify his mind what he had to do? The wrist lock in his rise. How do you remember that? He was at the mixed martial arts. Then he kind of went 3 days, 3 hours, and you didn't get the training. Think about the time frame here. The evidence, agreed. In terms of the physical evidence, the testimony, also the guns. In terms of the deal with this defendant. You were calling O'Brien, HOA president there at RTL, we talked about, in terms of the procedures you're supposed to follow, the person watch data, you were calling about follow people, follow the police. Second murder. States after 3 elements. The victim unfortunately is dead, the death was caused by criminal act of the defendant, and it was an unlawful killing of Trayvon Martin by the act of mitigation, so and demonstrating a frame mind without regard to human mind. And that includes the way action arises from and performs pursuant to single purpose. I am not going to let this effing punk or these days get away. He's a criminal. And acting in the intention of demonstrating a frame mind is not considered that. A person going in general knows which is certain guilt, which is I'm following this guy armed, and I'm going to shoot him away before the police get here. He's not going to go away, people get oh, here's some little set. Why does he have to lie about the whole thing? He wasn't even follow this victim. Why does he have to lie about it? Why would he want to follow him? Let's get up with this. I know the street, I know the address. Doesn't that kind of show his mental state? It's such a nation that that's case interest in life. And one of the defendants were trying to say that having intent. It's not for you to say that intent to go and kill him. What do you guys promote there? It's the volumes of his voices. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? You can believe in it. Show them. All right. States, the instruction of the court reason was telling part that states charges defendant second murder. You don't very use the highest offense to prove it. There's no included. And her name dream was it. It's a French child. In other words, you do this if you find guilty of the highest crime, not the less crime. Next order, you commit an intentional act, which resulted in death, he's dead. Choose order, justifiable. You get those instructions to have no action, etc. The point of the rule instruction is in terms of how you decide, we're not briefing about this. The evidence is alone, based on the examining on the evidence instructions, or largely not evidence that I consider as such. Now you decide because you're biased or sympathy or angry, and wonderful for one. Why do we have the rules? What if? That's not a lot of evidence. Can always be more. That's not reasonable. You will not hear, because a lawyer always free to something before they could be done. You just want to get it lacking. We don't have a big indication of how it happened. Is there anybody see it out there? They defended. Well, police, this is what happened. There were no eyewitnesses to the actual shooting. They're out. And again, what's not reasonable? Self-defense. This is what defendant applied to Virginia. Letters, emails, etc. Isn't that true? Yeah, the key point is, it is really not required. The person will get in their life. Well, why is that with them? Let's find out the whole thing. Yeah, the DNA. Anyone's also down?
Again, the key point is that injuries really are not required if the person is legitimately in fear. Graduate them, unless he's lying about the whole thing.
Ability. But should you believe the defendant? Think about this. That makes sense? Think of the jacket as he's claiming he's going down an angle. Which way would it go? Would the gun be exposed, or just the opposite? Think about this. Doesn't that speak the truth? What a coincidence. The shot, all of a sudden the yelling stops. You see where some of those injuries are? What, they pick up a sidewalk, or they turn them upside down? Or is it just by scraping and rolling and fighting out there? They both work. I'm wrapping this up, believe it or not. I thank you for your time and your patience. I ask you to come back with a verdict that speaks the truth. It's just. You heard from many people in this case, and I've summarized some of them. There's a lot more actually that you heard. We know you paid close attention throughout all these proceedings. Some of the people you heard from were the parents of both the victim and the defendant. Unfortunately, the only photographs left are Trayvon Martin. The living photographs. They still have photographs. We saw some of them football. They can't take more photos. That's true because of the actions of one person. The man was guilty of second degree murder.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to recess for the evening. Before I let you go, while you're getting your notepads ready to put plates down, I'm going to give you my instructions. You're not to discuss the case amongst yourselves or with anybody else. You're not to read or listen to any emails, text messages, or social networking pages about the case. You're not to create or read any of those. You're not to get on the internet to do any independent research about the case, people, places, things, or events, and you're not to read or listen to any newspaper, radio, or television reports. Do I have your assurances that you will abide by these instructions? Okay. We will be in recess until 9 a.m. Please put your notepads face down and follow Deputy Jarvis back into the jury room. Actually, it'll be 8:30. 8:30. Please be seated. Counsel, you've got the final draft of the jury instructions in the verdict form. If you'll let me know in the morning if there's any issues with them.
I might point out just, Mr. Zimmerman's name is misspelled on the verdict form.
On the verdict form?
Yes. His name is spelled in the verdict form,
No,
Z-L-M-M-E-R.
the one I have, it has Z-I-M-N. Like, it's the same as it is on the jury instructions.
Well, mine isn't. I thought I had it right one.
It's the first sentence, not the
Not the
style.
style.
Oh, I see, I thought you said the style. Yes, if you'll correct that on the first sentence. First, second, and third, all of them.
Yeah, all of them.
You put a capital I instead of a small I in all those. So the second page seems to be fine, it's the first page. And if you'll let me know if there are any other concerns or issues regarding the jury instructions. Is there anything else that we need to take up before we recess for the evening?
You're going to bring those other items in the morning. Thank you.
Anything from the state? That's okay, thank you, good night. Court is in recess until have you resolved Defense Exhibit 39?